Aiyuk right, they motion McCaffrey backwards pass to McCaffrey, and he's going to throw downfield wide open. Brandon Aiyuk, touchdown! San Francisco! He can run, he can catch,
getting on fire!
And Christian McCaffrey can throw! Now they go empty, and McCaffrey goes right. It is Garoppolo looking. Garoppolo under pressure, throws to the back of the end zone. Caught by Christian McCaffrey. Touchdown! CMC!
Dynamite!
One, just got it snapped in time. Inside handoff. McCaffrey finds a crack. Gets wide. 10, 5, 10. No, he got nailed on the goal line. Is he in? He's right on the goal line. What a run by Christian McCaffrey! They're going to give it to McCaffrey coming left. McCaffrey, touchdown!
Hey.
Breezy,
Mo's nose. Season 3, Peachy. It's about that time. Everybody turn your TVs on. The Mo's nose, Peachy, Breezy, and Fair to God. They keep it nitty gritty when they bring you 9 to talk. We two gorilla silverback, 9 silver.
You know it's busting good discussion cause we get it in. Every time you know we grinding, I was 8 to 10. We always play to win. The faithful going hard. It's Wayne, Breezy, Peachy, Mo's nose, and Fair to God. Let's get it.
Nitty gritty, this the line is tall. Don't like it, better take a walk. Nitty gritty, this the line is tall. We outline players up in chalk. Nitty gritty, this the line is tall. Don't like it, better take a walk. Nitty gritty, this the line is tall. Line is tall. Nitty gritty, this the line is tall.
I don't know what happened there. We're having some technical difficulties, kind of not sort of. Listen, what's going on, people? We didn't get to finish the intro, but we are here.
Yes.
We are back. Peachy, what's going on, sis? How you doing?
Man, let me tell you, when you think that you're going to have like the perfect day at work where everything's just going to go smooth because the inventory starts tomorrow, then some fool decides that they want to do donuts through our parking lot. So he not only was doing donuts through the parking lot, but he almost hit one of our employees. So had to deal with that, and being an admin, I had to wrap up the paperwork and all that good stuff. So after thinking it's going to be just smooth and everything's going to be cool, nope.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
That's crazy because I can't hear you. I'm going to drop off real quick.
Okay.
You handle the show. I'll be right back.
Okay. Hey, can you guys hear me? Hello? Anybody? Am I muted? What's up? What's going on? Can you hear me? Oh, okay, cool. All right. So it must be Mo's. All right. Well, everybody knows that my name's Peachy. Breezy will join us later. He is rehearsing and he'll be on later. Not sure, like I could hear Mo's. I don't know why he couldn't hear me, but anyway, we'll figure it out. But like I was saying, like my work day was crazy, but you guys don't want to hear about that. You guys want to talk about everything we have going on. Basically, this is going to be our show that we're running. So we would like to thank all of you guys for tuning in. If you could grab the link on Twitter and share it, that would be great, because we're trying to get the attendance up on these shows now that football has started back. Right now, we got training camp going on. It's real exciting. So I'm very glad that that's what we have going on right now, because there's a lot to talk about, a whole lot to talk about. So we definitely want to start by commenting, and subscribing on YouTube at The Wayne Breezy. Very important for you guys to do that. We also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at NGN Talk. I'm not sure if we're on Threads yet, but I don't see that on here, so it's fine. Then we also want you guys to follow, subscribe, and join us on Facebook at Nitty Gritty Niners. We're trying to get that attendance up for the new season 2, so that would be great. Can you hear me, Mose?
I can hear you.
All right, we're good because they could hear you.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on.
Not a problem.
It always happens like this, right? I'm the IT guy. I do this every day, all day. And as soon as I get in this studio behind this computer, it's always some type of technical difficulty.
Right.
I'm sure at some point the internet's going to go out. Now, that's not a technical difficulty. That's probably one of my kids messing with my Ethernet cable downstairs.
Yeah.
But we'll get it all figured out.
Not a problem. So we're just doing formalities. And then if you want to send us an email, and you guys, we're still wanting pictures of anything or video or anything you guys have at training camp. You will get credit for it. Breezy's been doing it all week long. He's been giving people credit when they send him videos, when they send him quotes, anything, pictures that they get from training camp. So you can email us at nittygrittyniners@gmail.com. We also still have our shop up at nittygrittyninershop.com. That's going to be moving over to the TWBN shop pretty soon. I think that might be all we got to know. Oh, and we have one more. Be sure that when you get your Niners gear that you shop www.residency.com and use promo SFBreezy. And it's really important for a lot of you guys that are shopping over there to do that because you get a discount when you do that. So it's something that you completely want to do. You definitely want to make sure. Like I said, we thank all of you guys so much for hanging with us, for being with us. It's important as usual. So we definitely want to get that started. But let's get it started, Mose.
Let's do it.
Got train camp going on.
Listen, we always knew that when this time came, when the pads came on, the intensity level was going to rise.
Yes.
So it should be no surprise to any of us the things that, transpired today, and I'm sure we're going to get into all of it, but the pads come on. Now you can be a little bit more free with your aggression,
Yes.
that aggressiveness. So I love to see it from this team. I love to see the hunger. I love to see the fight.
Yeah. It's I'll tell you what, I was happy today because Trey has been getting a lot of craziness coming his way. I was glad that he had a good day today. I was very glad that the pads came on. They said that he just looked different. He looked more poised. He looked more confident out there, just like in regular, game form. So that was cool. That was really, really awesome. Brock's day was okay. He's got to shake off some rust, still trying to get that arm working. I'm sure he's going to be fine too. Sam, it was decent. Mose, if you want to find the stats from today, I think my Echo posted them, or something like that.
Yeah, he did.
So we can kind of go over those. But in the meantime, okay, you know what? This is me and Mo's show today, so we're fixing to talk about the fight.
Because I see Callie
Yes,
in the chat. He said, "Who was
Callie
scrapping?"
said, "Who was scrapping?"
Well, sir.
So we about to get into it.
Apparently, the first person to set it off was somebody who y'all know the show, y'all know me quite well. Somebody who I'm a little bit hard on, and I don't know a lot of stuff this young fella been doing in the offseason. I feel like he's trying to get in my good graces, but Jawan Jennings, he wasn't having none of it today.
No.
Jawan Jennings was ready for all the smoke. So
Yes, all the smoke.
Jawan Jennings was ready to go. I read somewhere else that wide receiver Tay Martin and Quantrez Knight got into a little scuffle.
Yes.
They was swinging back and forth. So the boys out here, listen, especially these younger guys, they're trying to make this roster. And I feel like maybe Jennings has always been one of the, the more feisty, competitive. He's one of those. He's one of those dogs you talk about, right? You may not see his impact on the stat sheet. You may not see 12 catches for 200 yards and 4 touchdowns. You may not get that from Jauan Jennings.
Right.
His impact on the game is the stuff that's not measured. It's his intensity. It's his effort. It's his blocking. It's his ability to get in there and to lay somebody out. And I feel like part of what got Jennings fired up a little bit is recently he reposted a tweet about the block that he had on Trayvon Diggs.
Yes.
And he said, I can't wait to see that boy again. And then Trayvon responded by saying, boy, you will never line up across from me in your life. So they had a little back and forth on Twitter. So maybe that interaction kind of got Jennings riled up a little bit. Maybe he felt the disrespect of saying, oh, you don't think I'm a number 1 or a number 2 wide receiver that I'll line up across from you.
Right.
So it maybe that got him fired up. Another thing that I was thinking is maybe he's taking the Brandon Aiyuk route. There was the talk, a couple seasons ago, Brandon Aiyuk in the doghouse had a meeting with Kyle Shanahan where they hashed it out. And then from there, he kind of elevated his game. This past last season in training camp, BA was the one who got into the fight with Fred Warner. So I don't know. Maybe Jennings is trying to, tag on to that, get some of that type of juice and kind of bring that energy a little bit. But listen,
Yes.
I love it. I love his energy. I love his intensity. The only issue that I have with Jauan, and you guys know it, is him dropping the football. But one thing that I will never complain about Jauan Jennings is his effort and his energy, the juice that he brings on the offense from a physicality standpoint. And the defensive guys were talking. BA, came out and said everybody on the opposite side of the ball getting all the smoke. The defensive guys was like, not so fast. I hope you don't think it's going to be that easy.
Yep.
And Jauan Jennings is like, oh, no, we think it's going to be that easy. We're not going to let y'all bully us this year.
Right.
So I love it. I love it. I'm here for all of it.
Yeah. So, did you get to watch any of the pressers?
Not
Anything? Yeah. I was trying to see what they were talking about. I didn't either.
Yeah, I didn't get to see the pressures yet.
Yeah. So if you guys want to do us a favor, if anybody watched the pressers and you guys want to kind of pull it up, then we'll just pull your little things up so we can kind of talk about it. But what I wanted to talk about is the emergence of TDP.
I'm glad you brought that up because I think we have to have a conversation about the running backs as a whole.
Yes.
I think TDP year 2, a second off season with the playbook under his belt. I think he's getting a little bit more comfortable. I think coming from the college game, especially, one of the upper echelon schools like TDP coming from LSU. At LSU, he was probably looked at as somebody that had to do everything. When you get to the NFL, I think most players have to understand and realize that, you've been training all your life to get to this level, but now at this level, you are really playing with the best of the best. And and these offenses and defenses usually aren't built for you to do everything, right? They're built for you to be an integral piece, for you to play your part, but not do everything. So I'm hoping that in his mind, he kind of dumbed down, what he needed to do.
Yes.
And just realize I just need to do my job when I'm called upon. So his emergence has been really, really good. And I see somebody in the chat, Old Computer says, bruh, Mason has fumbleitis problem, I heard. That's what I wanted to talk about when we talk about these running backs.
Yeah.
Because Jordan Mason throughout camp has not looked good so far. Yes, he's had fumble issues. I did catch Grant Cohn's kind of like an instant analysis, and he said one of Trey Lance's only incompletions was because he didn't get his head around to see where the ball was. Trey was going to check it down to him in the flat, and Mason didn't even get his head around to see where the ball was. Otherwise, that would have been a completion. So I'm not sure what's going on with Mason. with the fumble issues, with his inability to catch the ball out of the backfield, and we know how this roster is. We know how Kyle views the running backs. You got to be able to hit the gaps when they're there.
Yep.
You got to be able to block. You got to be able to catch the ball out of the backfield, and you got to be able to hold on to it, ball security.
Yeah.
So if Mason can't do that, it looks like TDP is playing better than him. We know Mitchell is playing better than him.
Yeah.
Maybe Kalen LeBourne supplants Jordan Mason. Who knows?
So I want to apologize to the Breezy bunch. And I'm the one that always fusses at Breezy when he forgets to do this. Let me say hello to the Breezy's bunch real quick. I forgot about that. Eddie G and the Bulldog says, "What's up, faithful? Heading to bed for work, but I will watch the replay. Have a great show. NGNT crew. Football is here, baby. Let's freaking go." Boss said, "Yeah, the pads have returned. What's cooking? Not a family." Let's see what else we got here. We got Michael Ing in here with the BBs. Bro, Montana, you need to join the Breezy's bunch. That would be great. So you just go to where you're at right now and just click over and hit join. And you'll be able to join and do that. Jedi says clocked in. Troy No says let's get ready to rumble. Hashtag Breezy's bunch. We are praying for you still, Troy. You're in our thoughts and prayers.
Absolutely.
That we got you. Sean, what up, fam? What up, Sean? Thank you for tuning in. Grizz, hashtag BB. See what else we got here. Christy Marie is in the house. She's got some emojis and BB. Thank you very much. Let's see. What else we got here? Let's do this real fast.
Talking about let's get ready to rumble. Did anybody see that Crawford and Spence fight over the weekend?
Crazy.
Goodness gracious.
Terradome said, "What up, my peeps?" What up, Terradome?
Woo, Spence
The minister's
got beat
in the
on.
house. See, I know I saw. Let's see. Got Christy, Terradome, Troy.
I did too, Bishop. I had Crawford going into that match.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire process, and even as you saw him walking into the ring, he was just so locked in. He was so focused. He was definitely a man on a mission. And
Yep. JP hella hard. Big boy day.
what's good, bro?
Nice. Got you.
At the end of that fight, man, it looked like Bud wasn't even in a boxing match. That's
There's
how
Miss
it was.
Jack Knox. Hey, y'all. Hope everyone is doing great. We're doing okay, Jax. We doing okay, girl. Okay, I think that might be it. Yeah, my apologies for that. Like I said, I'm the first one that jumps on Breezy when he forgets to do that. So, what is Mike and Kim at TravelBud710 hashtag BB fam. Good evening, all. Good evening to you as well. I see a bunch of people in here that are not green that need to sign up for this Breezy's bunch. Come on, you guys. It's awesome. We have a lot of fun doing that and whatever. So Callie, I thought that right there. We're the one I saw Callie had right here.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He got
Yes,
beat
he did.
on.
Mm-hmm. He sure did. Yeah.
They was comparing. They had a side-by-side comparison of Spence and the episode of Martin when he got beat up by Tommy
Yes,
Hearns.
I saw that.
I was like, yo, the internet does not wait for anything. The internet does not wait. There he is. But see, this one I don't like. First of all, Breezy full of it. Because this man he's so musically inclined. He play music every day, all day. What you need to go to rehearsal for? You don't need to rehearse nothing. You know all the songs. But second, he's driving home from rehearsal.
Yes.
And typing yo. Now, he may be at a stop sign. He may be at a red light. But Breezy, stop typing.
I bet you
Get home
$10
safe.
that he's doing like this.
Yes. Yes. Driving with one hand, looking at the phone, not paying attention to the road. Get off the phone. Right. Get home safe, bruh. Oh, that's a good one, too.
Yes, he does.
That's a good one,
does.
too. Will Smith and hits. That's funny.
He definitely does. Definitely does. We got our first super chat from Miss Jax Knox. She said, y'all rocking it out. Have a great show. Thank you, Jax. We appreciate that very much. We sure do.
Yes, we do.
Okay, so back to this running back thing we have here. So it was really interesting because, Kyle can't stand a running back that fumbles. And I know he's probably just like, oh, you can wind up in the doghouse so fast by fumbling. like really fast.
And I'm sure one of his thoughts is, what's the difference? Because he didn't have these issues last year. Last year it was the talk like, this guy is the star of camp. He's one of those unsung heroes, a name that you didn't think we would be talking about, but we are talking about him.
Yes.
So it's just kind of odd for him to have this complete 360 with the camp that he had last year, and the little spots throughout the season where he was able to step in and play really well for us. We thought that he would be taking the next step in his career and solidifying himself as at least the number 3 running back on this team in the depth chart. But
yes,
so far it hasn't been really, really good for him. And I wonder, what the mentality is right now. What is he struggling with? Is it an injury issue? Is it, just a mental thing? Is he just, going through, a little block in his mental right now? I don't know what it is, but he has to figure that out and figure it out quick.
Callie's Breezy pulling a 2020 Jimmy G. The thing about it is the worst case scenario is that he's regressing.
Yeah.
That's the worst case scenario, and that's what no one wants to see. No one wants to see any of the starters from last year regressing. So let's hope that he's not regressing and that he just, like you said, he's just having these little blocks and stuff, and he's got to get, what I'm saying. But one of them was really bad. And I'm sure Kyle was not happy. I don't even want to know what he was saying on the sidelines when that happened. But anyway.
I'd be interested to know from somebody who was at camp, have his opportunities and have his touches during these team drills. Have they decreased?
Right.
I knew he was good.
I know,
said you wasn't going to do this.
He was talking trash in the joint. You talk about, I don't need to rehearse. Listen, I know I don't, but everybody else does, so I have to go. And for those that keep saying I'm lazy, I'm far from lazy. I just
listen. I don't know how you could say Breezy lazy.
Not at all.
He do 50 shows on YouTube a week.
Right.
He's a father to a young son, getting him ready for the upcoming school year. He's a husband, so he got to spend time with the missus and make sure she's good. Then he's out here doing gigs, playing music at weddings, school event. Breezy is far from lazy. And you're going to see Breezy at pretty much all the road games this year for the 49ers Rush road trip. So saying Breezy lazy even in just, I don't know, that's a bit of a reach.
It really
is. I'm not caping because that's my brother. Like, he really do be busy because when I text him, he don't answer me right away. It's usually about a 3.5 to 4 hour delay before I get a response from my brother because he always works. I'm just messing.
Now he capping right now. Matter of fact, he get a phone call back. That's what he get back. He get the phone call. Nah, man, but I just wanted to be here, man, just to be in here. I'll listen to you guys, and if there's anything I can give a take on, man, I'm here. I'm sorry I'm not at the setting. I'll be home shortly, but I'm gonna take my time and you know what I'm saying, be safe.
Well, right now we thought we'd talk about the running back situation that we have going on, especially with Jordan Mason.
It's a good situation.
Yeah.
I think you guys are talking about Jordan Mason. He's fumbling the ball. I will say this, like, he didn't do it in real life, like in real games. Now, that doesn't mean he won't, but I'm just saying he didn't. And then I'm thinking now that the pads are on, he didn't fumble today. So now that the pads are on, maybe he has a different way of tucking the ball or something. I don't know, but I don't know the context behind the fumbles. I don't know if it was bad exchanges or what. I just know it was a fumble. So we'll see what happens throughout camp. But the reason why I said it's a good situation is because the 49ers find a way. It took them a few years, but man, the running backs room is looking lethal right now. And so I don't know who we're going to pick, who's going to be the odd man out, come down to that 53-man roster cut.
Yep.
But I think, man, I think TDP is trending upwards. I think Jordan Mason is probably pushing for running back 2, but Elijah Mitchell ain't going anywhere. Like, it's a good situation to have. And we talked about this, I think, last week. We talked about depth. There's definitely depth there, but the depth is good. And I know a lot of people question Elijah Mitchell because of his health, but I think he's going to be just fine. Last year, he took a helmet to the knee, and it just messed up some things. You know what I'm saying? And then the other knee got hurt, like after that knee healed. So it was just a bad season for him. And I know his rookie year, he was dealing with some injuries, but when you're the only running back, you're going to get banged up. So I think he's going to be just fine. I'm hoping there's no trades coming or involved, but hey, we can't keep everybody. So I think this is a good situation to have.
So I did see this on here where somebody was saying, I think it was Croc said that on the second 10, that Trey Lance threw to Jordan Mason on a swing, and Mason never even looked at the ball, and it fell incomplete. And so things like that, I think, is what people are talking about. Kind of like what's going on. But Mo's brought up a great point. It could just be mental. It could just be a hurdle. It could just be something that he's just got to get through. They just got to get through, and we'll see.
It could be a miscommunication.
Yeah.
It could be something new to him because everybody kept saying they wanted to see Jordan Mason last year because he ran the ball so well. But what does Kyle Shanahan want from his running backs? They got to be able to pass protect. They got to be able to catch out of the backfield. And this might be the reason or one of his, areas that he needs to improve on. So we got to give training camp some time with these guys. I know TDP's catching out of the backfield very well. I know Elijah Mitchell's catching out of the backfield. We already know what CMC is doing. Kaylon Laybourne is doing well. So we just got to see what happens. Mose is probably right. This is a mental thing, and it's something that he's new to. It's just like trying to get Trey Lance to throw that nice little soft touch pass to the running backs. He just got to get it with reps. So you got to give Jordan Mason some time. The one thing I know he knows how to do is run the ball in between the tackles.
Yep, and he's also good in that red zone too. So
this is why I didn't want Breezy to join from his phone, because he talked with his hands, and every time he talked with his hands, he used both of them. So when you see him go like this, and ain't no hands on that damn steering wheel.
You know how you can ride your bike with your knees and no hands or whatever? I got the knee action going on right now. You know what I'm saying?
That's that super old school. That's that super. My granddad used to do that all the time, driving with his knees. With his knees. I'm like, Granddad, come on down. He was like, I'm a professional. You got to be
experienced, man. You got to be.
I'm a professional.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And then we were talking about Ty Davis Price, how impressed that we've been with him. And, he's making them strides, for year 2. Looking really good doing it. And then what Kyle said the other day, when he was talking about that he would have had an opportunity last year, but he got hurt. So that means that he was going to be in the 49ers plans, big time last year.
Yes,
but when he got hurt, that kind of stopped that. So
he was definitely in the 49er plans.
Yes.
Every time he was healthy, he was the go. He was the guy.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? So you could tell Kyle Shanahan has this affinity for him and was trying to get him, going. But John Lynch capped it off today when he said that the kid is at camp 5 a.m. in the morning.
Yes.
Working, and that's what you love to see from these young guys.
That was great.
Trey Jackson too. These young guys are getting in there. They're not taking any time off. They know what it takes to get where they need to go. So like you said, he looks good. He's out there playing well in practice. and we'll see what happens. But the running back, that's my eyes on that room. I'm gonna try to drive with 2 hands so Mose can stop holding his breath.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be crazy. And then, I mean, you still have a Laborn who's trying to do that, but I don't know that he's going to bypass any of the ones that we have. I think that he'll wind up being, I would say, on the practice squad. I really think that it's just going to be Mitchell, TDP, Mason, and of course CMC. So I think it's going to be 4. And I think at labor, but I don't know if he's going to be able to stay on the practice squad because all these running backs are getting hurt. So they're going to be trying to snatch.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point, though. Like, so it's good if we can find a way. Like, I can see Kyle Shanahan doing what he did with Jordan Mason last year, not necessarily like putting this guy up and bringing him to the active roster, because that's the thing you get with Jordan Mason. A lot of people, are saying like he might be trending downward because he's fumbling the ball. That's fine, but at the end of the day, I'm trying to figure out which one of those other running backs can play special teams like him. And so that's going to be that question, because with Jordan Mason, you get the special teams gunner and you get a running back. So I'm not saying his spot is secure.
Right.
He does more of he's more versatile, which is what John Lynch talked about today. When you could do more than one thing, your value goes up.
Right. Yeah.
Juice does count as a running back, Carly. So they're gonna keep 5. But I always say 4 in the juice. That's kind of like
we are in. It's a great position to be in. There's a lot of teams that don't have that running back depth like we do. So I'm really happy because we do, and we'll see what happens. But I do like what we're seeing from TDP. I feel like that he's making that next jump, and as long as he stays healthy, we'll be good to go with him. Mitchell, Mason, all of them, if they do that, it's going to be fun to be, like being able to game plan and use the ones that you need to use for, depending on who you play against and what you feel like that you need for that particular, thing, whatever. So as long as these guys are, still like grasping the playbook and doing all these things. That's one thing that I had said earlier, not on here. I forgot. I was talking to somebody today and I told them, I said that the playbook is really important. Everyone knows that that's very, very important. So it's easier to keep someone who is comprehending the playbook a lot better than someone that's not, because that's foremost, like that's what you need to do. You need to be able to understand the playbook. That's huge in Kyle's wheelhouse, and it should just be that way anyway, because it makes it easier out there when you have to go out there and perform to do what you have to do. So it definitely is. But another thing that was really go ahead, Breezy.
No, I was just agreeing with you.
Oh yeah. Another thing that was fun to see is the receivers. Brandon Aiyuk is just having these Hall of Fame, like, good Lord. It's fantastic. Every time he goes out there, it's like he just does something spectacular. It's so fun to see, considering, where he started, like Kyle's doghouse and everything, and how he got out and completely have wowed Kyle to where Kyle just talks about him and is so proud of him and everything. So
PG, I like how you use the word spectacular. Mose, if you can give an adjective to how Brandon Aiyuk that sums him up in one word, what would you choose? What would be your word?
Dominating.
Dominating. I'm gonna go with. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. You got it.
No, because then I want us to kind of like put something together. So we got spectacular. You got dominating. How about consistent, yo? Like,
yes.
Now, Mose, I want you to take those 3 words and put something together, because that's Brandon Aiyuk this year.
I mean, listen, you could make a sentence that says Brandon Aiyuk has been consistently spectacular and dominant.
I love that.
Point blank period. Like that. That is the sentence. He has been consistently spectacular and dominant. Like the one hand catches, the acrobat catches, the diving catches. the contested catches, the talking to the DBs like, yo, you can't guard me. So we have all the spectacular, but then imposing his will and being dominant by it with his blocking,
Yes.
and then making these spectacular plays and getting in the DB's face and saying, y'all can't guard me. Y'all wasting y'all time out here. Y'all can't guard me. Make it a challenge for me. And for him to be able to do that every single practice shows his consistency. So you take those 3 words, and that's exactly what Brandon Aiyuk has come in to be. So whoever our quarterback is, I just want that person to stay healthy, because we can legitimately have 3 1,000-yard receivers, if not 4.
Yes.
If not 4.
Yeah.
You include CMC, BA, Kittle, and Debo. We could have 4 guys with 1,000 yards receiving. And because of his ability to run routes, and the more teams are going to see him, the more I think this is what Kyle has wanted, and I think all he's looking for is just consistency at that quarterback position, because there are teams that are out there that have really, really good weapons. But even if you pick a team like Kansas City, okay, we know they got Patrick Mahomes. We know we got to worry about Travis Kelce. They got rid of Tyreek Hill and Mecole Hardman. You really don't have to worry about any of the other receivers. None of the other receivers garner that type of respect.
Yeah.
If you look at Dallas, their running back situation, they got rid of Zeke. Tony Pollard is good, but you're not really worried about him. You're not really focused on him. And then you got to worry about, CeeDee Lamb, maybe Brandon Cooks, but that's about it. Like, Kyle has at least one guy at the major positions.
Yes.
So our running back, you got to worry about CMC and what he's able to do because he's so multiple. You got to worry about Debo because what he's able to do and be so multiple. Kittle is like a wide receiver. He can run any route from anywhere on the field. And now we have BA, who is a route technician, but who brings a tenacity. He plays like a Anquan Bolden. He plays like a Steve Smith. Like, he's always angry. Like, he's that ferociousness that he plays with, man. Like, I'm just so excited to see him come to regular season, because he's gonna be special. And I think his ascension and his growth is only gonna make the offense that much more special.
Right. I love this comment by Terry Dome. Let me just be me. I put my defense up against any and everyone in the NFL. Got that right.
We got to get Nick Bosa back, though.
Yeah, I got to get him back.
We got to get Nick Bosa back. I know John Lynch said
Yeah,
that he wasn't.
no worries about Bosa, guys.
I'm not worried.
About it.
I want him back. Just get it done.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. It's just one of those. It's just he's a Bosa, so
Yeah.
we know from history how Bosa's act during contractual.
Yep. Joey did the
time.
same thing.
They're not. Yeah, and I'm sure they dad did too back in the day before football
probably.
was created. But my point is, like, that's just how they operate. They John Lynch came out and said, they working tough. I don't know if the 49ers are lowballing him. I don't think that's right. But that the number, for him to be the highest paid this, highest paid that, and it's tough. It's tougher than we think. But I guarantee you they'll get it done. And I'm with you, Mose. Gotta have him back. He kind of just seals the deal on that defense. But I will give the defense their props, because they're playing on another level in practice. Like, they're practicing on a whole nother level. It's like they know when he come back, we're not going to get these reps. So we're going to take advantage of these opportunities. Drake Jackson is looking good. Cleveland Farrell had a couple of almost sacks that would have been recorded as sacks on today with the pads on. So you're seeing the defense really sharpening themselves up, which means when Bosa comes back, we know he's coming back chiseled. We know he's coming back with a couple of extra tools in his tool belt. The thing is, the depth is going to be fired up and ready to go. They're going to be fresh, dressed like $1 million. The defense is going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. But I wanted to talk about what you were saying on the offense. And I do apologize if my connection isn't the greatest. I'm driving on the highway. But you said we got these weapons, and I agree 1,000%. There's only 11 people on defense. So how many double teams can defenses do when you have like the best weapon at that position on like in the league? Like, you know, I know people say Travis Kelce's the best tight end, and I get it. His numbers prove that he's there, but he is not as special as what George Kittle does. We know how
not at all.
George Kittle is throughout the whole game plan of a football game. You know, you ask Travis Kelce to do that. He fits in Kansas City. Put Travis Kelce on a different team. If you don't play his style of football, he'll fall to the flats of what the tight ends should be. So how do defenses, they can't double. They can only, they may add double coverage to Brandon Aiyuk if he start balling out. But now you're freeing up Debo, you're freeing up somebody else that can line up in the slide and get open. It's going to be crazy, bro. It's going to have a field day. And I know people keep saying we're going to continue to run the ball. Oh, no doubt. But look for screens. We haven't seen the screen game yet, this offense. I'm talking Patriots 2012, 13 screen game. All they did was run screens, and they couldn't be stopped. I think Kyle Shanahan's got to change in the atmosphere, a shift in the atmosphere, and it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, bro. And that's what I meant when I was talking about, you know, Kyle has finally built up the team the way he wants it. There is no team in the league, there's no defense in the league that can double team anybody on our unit. So Kyle is forcing teams to play. You got to play man. Or if you don't play man, you have to play zone. But whatever you do, I want one-on-one matchups with my guys. Because depending on the coverage you come out in, depending on who you have at particular spots, because I know that there's one-on-one coverage across the field, I know where my spots are. I know who's going to be open. We've seen Kyle on the sideline call plays. Like, if he doesn't hold him, it's a touchdown. But he's going to hold him here because he's going to get beat. And the ref had to throw the flag because Kittle got held. So Kyle sees it. He knows it. And that's where we get into him being a genius play caller and a genius offensive mind. So if he can set it up to where I have one-on-one matchups across the board, you can't double team Debo, you can't double team Aiyuk, you can't double team Kittle, you can't double team CMC. I got one-on-one matchups with my best guys versus yours. I'm gonna win more often than I lose. As long as I have health and continuity and chemistry at the quarterback position, and then that guy starts to, with that chemistry that they built, the quarterback starts to see what Kyle sees and can anticipate it before even Kyle does. That's where we're going to start to see something special. And whether that's Brock or whether that's Trey, whoever that is, I'm just hoping that they can get to that point, because that's when we'll be able to see, like, the Rams was the greatest show on turf.
Yep.
Like, we have the pieces to see something like that.
Absolutely.
We have the pieces to be not just a good offense, but potentially one of the greatest offenses, or have at least statistically one of the greatest offensive seasons in NFL history. We have the pieces. And it would be a shame if we didn't, if that wasn't realized at least once with this group.
I think that the thing that impresses me so much about this offense is that it's so versatile. They can each do different things. And this is the kind of dream offense that we wanted, where teams have no idea what anyone's doing, like what they're going to do. And all of these players that we have, like the receivers to running backs and everything, are versatile. They do different things. Tight ends, all of them do that. And that's what makes this offense so special and so deadly, because the defense can be completely thrown off like all the time. And we've seen that in the past, where even before, we had CMC and whatever, that we were able to throw off defenses with different coverages and plays and things like that. I think that it's just going to be more of that, but it's going to work so much better now because you have so many different versatile players that you have on offense. Like they can run it, they can throw it, they can catch it, they can block. all these different things, and you just never know what is going to happen. So it's just going to be fun. This offense is going to be fun. We already know who, the starters are, and then you have, you know what I'm saying, and then you kind of have to go through and see what's what, but you know who your main people are that you have, and that's going to make it great just with them. And then the depth is also going to make us really special this year as well.
Now, I know Nick Bosa didn't practice, but let's talk about Colton McKivitz not getting beat in his one-on-one drills today, and he didn't give up any sacks, from what I read. So I know a lot of people were worried about Colton McKivitz, but I think he's going to be just fine. I think he's a man's man, and he's just a damn football player. Like, some people are just born to play football. I think he's just one of those guys. And the more he builds the continuity with this line, I think they're going to be just fine. I think Colton McKivitz potentially will win that starting right tackle position. What are your thoughts on McKivitz? I know we didn't hear much from him, but there was a report out there from one of the content creators that was at the training camp saying that he didn't get beat. Like, he held his own against the defense in one-on-ones. And if you want to know what one-on-ones do, I know people are like, well, it's one-on-one. I get it. But when you get beat in your one-on-ones, man, that's when, you can kind of really, like, solo in on the drill and be like what they need to work on. You know what I'm saying? So one-on-ones matter, especially to me. I remember going to the Senior Bowl, and I was glued to the one-on-ones with the offense and the defense. I wanted to see if the offensive line, if they could hold their own against some of these pass rushers, against some of these interior guys. And you're looking at Colton McKivitz holding his own. So that should speak a little bit of volume. And I'm sure he did well in 11-on-11s as well. I know there was a few sacks that were given up, but I don't believe there were any on him. What are your thoughts on McKivitz?
Yeah, I mean, you hit it on the head, Breezy. Unless the offensive line is double teaming, even in a game, that battle is one-on-one. It's your right and left tackle versus the edge rushers, and it's a one-on-one battle. Sometimes a double team comes. Sometimes you do get a chip from a tight end or a running back, but more often than not, it is a one-on-one battle. So the one-on-ones, like you said, it shows footwork, hand placement. Where's your center of gravity? Are you sinking your hips? Are you standing too tall? Are you extending your arms out? It kind of shows you all of those things. So it is good to hear that he didn't get beat there. I think you mentioned it with TDP. I mean, not TDP. Jordan Mason, that he played a little bit better and didn't have any fumbles today because the pads were on. I feel like for offense and defensive linemen, we need those pads. You can do a lot of work, without pads, but a lot of times the defensive linemen are going to win those one-on-ones when there are no pads on. I had a coach who put no stock into defensive one-on-ones when there were no pads on. Mm-hmm. If anything, we had to be so on point. We had to be 100%. We would get ripped if we didn't win a rep because there's no pads. Offensive linemen, they can't be as physical. A defensive lineman, you can be a little bit more physical, and there's a little bit more finesse that you can have as a defensive lineman when you don't have the pads on. So one of my defensive line coaches, he put no stock into what we did. We would get hype over. He'd be like, okay, you were supposed to do that. I want to see what you do when the pads come on, right? So on the offensive side, now that he has the pads, he can kind of get in there, use his shoulders a little bit more. Mm-hmm. When somebody does get into his space and, he gets his hands on the inside and is able to extend and lock out. Again, it's just a different mindset when those pads come on. So the pads come on, he's playing better. You mentioned it earlier, Breezy, that C word. Now let's see if he can be consistent. Is he going to lose some reps? Of course, you're going up against the same guys every single day. He may have stonewalled everybody he faced today. And then tomorrow in practice, one of those guys he stonewalled is going to say, let me do something different to try to get a win this time. So that's going to happen. But can he consistently win those one-on-ones, and can he consistently protect that right side in those 11-on-11 drills and not allow any of those pressures to leak in. Now that the pads are on, that's something that I want to watch. He's a great run blocker, but if he's going to be our starting right tackle, he's going to have to improve in his pass protection to keep these quarterbacks upright.
Yep.
I agree. And to actually, he had a better pass protection grade than he did run blocking grade, Mose, which was to the contrary, which was total opposite of what Mike McGlinchey did, because we knew Mike McGlinchey could get out to the second level and fire out quicker. And that's just who he was. But when it came to getting, like, because he was so tall, because people would be able to get up under or bull rush him and knock him off of his speed, like, he really struggled in pass pro, whereas Cole McKivitz is pretty damn good. And when they played against the Rams, I'll never forget that game. Like, he gave up 0 sacks. And that was when the Rams had a defensive line. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they still got the best play in the defensive, well, according to everybody, Aaron Donald. They still got Aaron Donald. So I would say, like, they still pretty stout, but going up against that defensive line that year, Trent Williams was hurt that year. He played really good at the starting left tackle. We'll see if he can make it transition to the right side. I think he's going to be just fine as far as the offensive line. And that's just one. I know we want to worry about it, but for some reason, I just think you got to give it a couple of weeks, and that offensive line going to be much quicker and they turn around than they were last season. It took them about 5 or 6 games last year. I think it's going to take way less time for that offense to build that continuity. It might come out week 1 firing, if I'm not mistaken.
Chat, I need somebody to volunteer to count how many times we see both of Breezy's hands in the frame. Because he definitely just clapped and rubbed his hands together. That means there was no hands on the steering wheel. See, okay, so this is one. I need somebody to count every time you see 2 hands in the frame.
Don't you Kyle Shanahan me?
Because I'm snitching. I'm telling the missus that you out here with 2 hands off the steering wheel.
I've been
she ain't
doing
gonna want to
this
hear.
since I was 2, bro.
I was going to say, I'm sure that Ricky knows.
That's why she get car sick every time she ride with me. She be hitting the brakes.
She be in there holding on. She be in there holding on for dear life.
Right. So, Mose, did you get the stats for the quarterbacks before we move to the defensive side?
I have them. I know them by heart. Oh.
Okay, go ahead. What we got?
Yeah, I got them up.
So we got Trey Lance. Trey Lance went 9. Well, let's start with the quarterback that played with the ones, Brock Purdy. He took all the first team reps. Well, not all of them. All of his reps were with the first team is what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, he went 12 for 17. If I'm not mistaken, it's in that range. So
12 of 16.
12 of 16. All right. So I don't have the percentage breakdown.
Here's what I don't understand. Why do different reporters and people who be at practice have different stats when it comes to the passes?
I don't know. Like,
I don't either.
Because Mayoko has Trey Lance 9 of 11, but I heard he was 9 of 10.
Right, because I heard the only missed pass was
the one to Mason in the flat. So where's the second incompletion coming from? But yeah, so Brock Purdy, 27 reps on with the first team, 12 of 16 with an interception. For context, the interception was on a deep out route to George Kittle. The first deep out route that was called, Brock couldn't get it there. The second one, he put everything that he could to get the ball there, but he didn't see that Dre Greenlaw had dropped into coverage and threw it right to him.
Yep.
And 57 picked it off and took it the other way. So that was context on the interception. Trey Lance, I don't have the breakdown on how many reps are with the first team. It just says Trey Lance 18 reps.
I don't think Trey took any reps.
No, it was all with the 2s.
Okay,
yeah, him and Sam Darnold split the 2s, and Brandon Allen was the third team guy today.
Got you. So Trey was 9 of 11 or 9 of 10, however you slice it.
I do remember them saying Trey had a throwaway, which was dope because they said that he got rid of the ball and didn't take the sack. So that's got to be that extra
Exactly.
pass.
Yeah,
Okay, so then
that's
that could
great.
be where that pass came from. So 9 of 11, which should have been 10 of 11, and one was a throwaway to avoid a sack, get to the next down.
Yes.
Shows to me what? Pocket awareness, understanding that, you need to get out of the pocket. If nothing is there, you don't force it, throw it out of bounds, live to the next down. So they split reps evenly. Sam Darnold, 18 reps as well. He was 7 of 9 passing. And then Brandon Allen had 7 reps, and apparently he was 1 for 4.
Okay.
So Terradome is putting the percentages. So all right. So there's context with Brock Purdy. So Brock Purdy first session was terrible. Let's just call it like it was.
Yep.
Like he struggled in the first session, the first throwing session with the team. And you know what? I'm happy that he recovered and he overcame whatever he was going through after that first session, because he did finish. If it's 12 for 16, it's 75%. If it's 12 of 17, it's 70%. So he completed 70% of his passes. So that's the context. That's the story behind Brock, right? So he still finished well. And that stupid old saying, it ain't about how you start, it's how you finish. Here's the good that I look at that. In a real game situation, you might struggle the first quarter, first half. You come back out, you go lights out, and you finish the game with the win. And so, it's good to see that Brock was able to overcome the adversity that he experienced. So that's kudos to Brock. But that interception was bad, and nobody's talking about it. This is the second bad interception he's thrown in practice, and I'm trying to figure out. This is what scares me about Brock, and it's not the fact that he's throwing the interceptions. It's the fact that he's not understanding that people now, that these defenses are going to start disguising, right? And the fact that Dre Greenlaw is a top 10 linebacker in the league, all of a sudden he's showing that he's going to probably play the run and drops back into zone coverage.
Yep.
That's crazy. And if Brock threw it right to him, if Brock doesn't see that, that's how defenses are going to prepare, because these defensive coordinators have special skills. They got special people that look at all the tendencies of quarterbacks. I want you, Mose, to study him going to the right. Peachy, you study him going to the left. We're going to bring this stuff together, and we're going to try to figure it out. Now, I'm not saying Brock can't overcome this. Right. I'm just saying this season may look a tad bit different. Just a tad bit different. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. My whole thing about it was Brock was sacked quite a bit. Not sure about the contacts on the sacks. I think somebody said that he was sacked 3 times today or something like that. Not exactly sure what the context of what happened, but I did hear that from several reporters that said that he was sacked.
He also had the only touchdown too, Peachy. So
right.
He had the interception, the only touchdown, and he was sacked the most. Yeah,
he did. I just feel like that. He's got to start knocking this rust off. I can just tell by the way that people were saying it. Like he's got to start knocking this rust off. We don't have a lot of time.
That's my issue, right? So with Brock, he's knocking off rust,
right?
If he struggles. But if it's Trey Lance and he goes 2 for 5, which Brock's numbers was like that, with the interception in the first throwing session, if Trey Lance goes 2 for 5 and finishes 2 for 5, it's like he's struggling. And I hate to have this comparison thing, but this is how it's set up. It's going to be a comparison as long as they're here, right? And so, I don't understand why Trey Lance got to struggle and Brock gets the pass to being rusty. Why can't Brock struggle too? Why can't it just be a struggle when the quarterback struggle? I'm okay with Trey Lance struggling, but why can't Brock struggle?
I agree.
That's the question that I have, and I don't understand why we can't keep that same thing going for everybody. They're not trash, they're just struggling, and it's okay to struggle, because the only way you get better is by struggling. That's the only way you can go and you can correct your mistakes.
Yeah, there's you are right about that. I mean, we were talking about this earlier where, it's like Trey's a bust. Trey's trash if he goes out and struggles like that. He's worthless. The 49ers need to move on from him, or, he needs to be quarterback 3 or 4 or all this other stuff. But, Brock gets that, when it's just, that he's just rusty and, it takes time to get the rust off. But pretty soon, it's going to start mattering a whole lot as you work your way, to get, everything going here. It can't be out there just throwing the ball to the other team. You can't be out there taking these sacks. Like you can't, all that stuff. So we'll hope that the next day that Brock practices, I don't know if he's doing it tomorrow or if he's off tomorrow. I don't know how that crazy thing works, but that he'll have a better one. Trey was awesome today. He did really, really good.
Yeah,
and I'm glad.
And for those that want to add the context, yes, it was against the second team defense. But I tell you what, Trey was good yesterday against the first team defense too. And he was throwing to second team wide receivers. I'll leave it at that.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So, and it doesn't matter like when Trey was cleared. Him and Brock are both out here with this team at the same time. I know people are saying, well, he was cleared way before Brock. He should be 100%. He should be out here doing all that. But they're both in training camp at the same time. So that doesn't matter.
Cleared.
Right. And they're both cleared. So it doesn't matter which one was cleared before. You didn't have this game settings, and everything like you have now. So they're on even ground. Like they're literally, going through this at the same time. But kudos to the quarterbacks. For the most part, I guess all of them had a pretty decent day. I think the last quarterback 4, what's his name? And I shouldn't be saying that. I should know his name. Brandon Allen had a little oopsie today. A little bit. It wasn't as good as, he's been or whatever, but honestly, I feel like that this just comes down to QB1 and QB2. I don't think, especially from what Lynch said about keeping 4 quarterbacks. I wanted to get into that while we're still talking about quarterbacks, Mose. Lynch is not saying that there's going to be 4 quarterbacks in the 53. He's saying that we need to have 4 quarterbacks in the building. So,
yeah, I think you never want to be a prisoner of the moment, but I think after everything that happened last year, having 4 quarterbacks in the building is something that is if it's not a must, if it's not non-negotiable, it's at least something that we're thinking about.
Right.
And I think part of the evaluation for Brandon Allen is he going to be that 4th guy? Even if, he's stashed on the practice squad or with however the new rules are with them being able to have him, on the active roster for game days, however, that whole thing shakes out. I think even in the NFC Championship game, we only went into that game with 2 guys.
Yes.
We went in with Brock Purdy and Josh Johnson, and we didn't have, a 3rd or 4th option. So will we ever hit a situation where in one game we'll have to get to the 4th guy? I mean, I hope not. That would be something that would be a really freak accident to happen, to lose the 1st guy and then lose the 2nd guy and then lose the 3rd and then have to go to whoever that 4th guy is. But so far I think this is just an audition for Brandon Allen to see if he can be that 4th guy. And from everything that I'm hearing, I don't know if he's capitalizing on this moment to, be that 4th guy on a consistent basis.
Right.
Agree. If we decide to, okay, maybe it's not Brandon Allen. Okay, let's look towards somebody else, or maybe they have someone else in mind.
Yes.
I know it can't be Josh Johnson because Josh Johnson is on I forget what team picked him up, but he's on some team right now.
He is
So
on another team. That's right.
It can't be Josh Johnson. So maybe they have someone else in mind. And before they go that route, they kind of wanted to get an idea of what Brandon Allen could be.
Right.
But as of right now, it doesn't seem like he's taking advantage of that opportunity.
Agree with that. Absolutely do. So overall, the quarterbacks look decent. I see a lot of dissension in the chat about this. Look, the only thing that I have to say about it is when training camp started, you had Brock and Trey Lance both there. Now, regardless of how many days that Brock's on and off and blah, 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 and all this other stuff, that has nothing to do with it. The whole fact is that they're both playing with these teams. Like, they're literally both out here, whether they're playing with the ones, twos, whatever. And my whole thing is that pretty soon, rust is going to start to matter, just like it would on any other NFL team. If you're rusty and you keep saying that, you know what I'm saying, then, I mean, that's not good. So we're just going to hope that, that all these guys continue to just improve and do the things that they need to do during the rest of, practices and get it together.
And I think for me, I'm less worried about the rust because even though, Brock was recently cleared, after his surgery, he was doing rehab and he had a throwing program to kind of even get himself into position to where he can be in training camp, even if it is every other day, to take these first team reps, right? So I'm less worried about rust. I think the interception to Dre Greenlaw matters more to me because it's like Breezy said, it's the thought process. But then, so apparently from, play-by-play of the practice, they called the deep out to Kittle. He threw it there, didn't make it. Like, it died and, like, one hopped to Kittle. Then they called another one, which was then intercepted. And because he short hopped the first one, he had to put everything that he had into the throw. And when we always talk about the NFL game being a game where you got to know what you're doing. And when you make your decision, you got to fire. Right? But when you're thinking about that, and when he's overcompensating for, he's thinking about the elbow, thinking about the surgery. He didn't have the greatest arm strength before that. So when you're overcompensating and you're thinking about, okay, I got to do everything I have to do to make this throw, instead of reading and saying, even if I put everything into this throw, it ain't going to get there in time, or the way the coverage is, it's going to get either batted down or picked off anyway. Like, you can't make that throw, but you're not focused on the decision because you're worried about, I got to get it there. And because of where my arm is, I know I got to put everything into it. So I think I worry more about that than rust. Because even going 12 of 16, that doesn't show me rust. Maybe that first throwing session that Breezy talked about where he went 2 or 5, maybe that shows me rust. But that's from having the day off before.
That's what I'm saying.
I use
any
that.
quarterback is going to be, but that's my point. Don't say they rusty.
Right.
Just say they struggling.
Right.
That's all I'm asking. So, like, how is he rusty if he finished 12 for 16? Explain that. Explain rust.
You can't be.
It doesn't make any sense.
No. So you started off struggling. You maybe wore off a day's off rust. Let's not compile that and say, oh, he's had off-season rust. No. He had to get warmed up from having a day off.
Yeah.
So that first throwing session, he goes 2 for 5. He gets warmed up. And then once he gets warmed up, now he's starting to complete more passes. So I think for me, I'm not worried about rust. I'm worried about him overcompensating for the arm.
Okay.
And forcing passes or trying to make sure he gets the pass there and not making the correct read or the correct decision.
For me, it's just processing. And I'm not worried. I don't think I'm concerned with his off-script plays, but the plays that are called and dialed up, I'm I'm hoping the Niners are giving him those exotic looks on defense. I'm hoping Steve Wilks is blitzing. I'm hoping Steve Wilks is dropping. He dropped Greenlaw back in the zone. You ever play Madden and you switch your linebackers into zone coverage right before the snap? That's what happened today. Like, I'm hoping that stuff happens because that, to me, is the only way Brock's going to get better at it. And if he's the starting quarterback, like, you want him to start to recognize this stuff because there's going to be a bunch of exotic looks that's going to come his way. I'm telling you, y'all keep sleeping on these defensive coordinators. They specifically do things to get the quarterback, to trick the quarterback. You know, the great quarterbacks overcome it over time. Brock has to get back in there. So I feel like if we keep this rust narrative going, then that means, damn, he can start off rusty in a game, and y'all gonna say, well, it's his first game back after the injury. But if that's rust, and then if Trey Lance plays, then that should be rust too, right? I'm just saying, like, if it's rust, it's rust, or if they're struggling, they're struggling. I just think we got to be more consistent with what we're calling it. It's just football, and Brock, when he's consistently throwing, I personally don't like the way Kyle Shanahan is doing this 2-on, 1-off, and figuring it all. I really don't like it. I think it's a tad bit confusing, but I will say I understand it, right? Because you're trying to prevent the dead arm, the tired arm, what they call it, arm fatigue, right? Last year, that's what Trey Lance had. And so you're trying to eliminate that and keep these quarterbacks' arms as healthy as possible. Oh, speaking of Cleveland Farrell, I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, please bring that up.
He hit the arm, the elbow. But Brock was on point. You know what I mean? So, look, like I said, Brock finished 12 for 16. To me, that sounded like a damn good day. But the context was it didn't start well. And so, like, that's why a lot of things were alarming. Because at the beginning, it was looking like he was just not like himself. So,
I agree. All right. So now I would like to talk about Javon Kinlaw. According to the high praise that he got from Armstead to people that have been out there, Armstead says JK has been balling. He's been looking amazing and dominating. It's been great to see this after his injuries, and he's going to have a big year. I'm talking about all the work that he put in and everything, and it was good to see. It was really good to see.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just feel like the role and the responsibility is a little bit different for Kinlaw this year, and he's playing with a little bit more motivation this year. I mean, it's a contractual year for Kinlaw, so we don't want to overlook that.
Yes, that's true.
And so with it being contractual, he's probably gonna do some things that we probably haven't seen before, like get a sack or two, maybe another pick six. I don't know, but he does look good. And he if you want to go back to the one-on-one drills, and Mose broke down the one-on-one drills a little bit earlier. If you want to go back to that, like, let's talk about how he's dominating in these one-on-one drills. And so that's good, right? We need him to dominate in that. And here's my thing with Kinlaw. If his role and responsibility is changing, meaning he's probably not starting, which means he reverts to the rotational guy. And so that at him as a rotational defensive tackle, that's great for the Niners. They can bring him in, run stuffing downs, things like that. And he stays fresh. And I think more importantly, they're trying to figure out a way to keep him healthy. Yeah. So I think Kinlaw's trending upwards. That's just me. I know he has to do it in order for people to believe it, because not one 49er fan has faith.
It's funny that you say that with, us being called the faithful and all. And I mean, I'm gonna fall right into it. I expect him to look good now because, even when he came in the league, he was a physical specimen. The kid is a beast. And then even being in the league, being in, the 49er system, working with our trainers, working with guys like Armstead and Bosa, who told him the importance of keeping his body upright. He trimmed down, he chiseled up, he looks good.
Yep.
And in one-on-ones, I expect somebody who is as country strong as him to just throw dudes around. Here's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about when other bodies get around that knee. I'm worried about because obviously he's been having issues with the knee tendonitis, things of that nature, kind of getting it scoped. But the more you go in there, the more scar tissue forms. And even when you go there and try to remove scar tissue, because you had to go in there and remove scar tissue, then scar tissue can form again. I've learned a lot about scar tissue because my wife is a nurse, more than I ever cared to know about scar tissue. But what I worry about is when the games really matter and you're going up against the best of the best, but you have all of those guys. You have your guys that are on the defensive line. You have the 5 guys on the offensive line, plus anybody else who comes in there, running backs trying to, run up the middle, tight ends pulling, to, chip block and things of that nature. I want to see how he holds up. Now, like you said, because he is taking a lesser role as a rotational defensive lineman instead of a starter, that is beneficial because that's less opportunities for him to be around those piles and to be around a lot of bodies. But I do, Breezy, as much as, I want to, say that I'm faithful, I do need to see it, when he's in there, during these preseason games and when we get to the regular season, if he could just stay consistent and stay healthy, when he's in those trenches around the bodies that are going to be around his knee.
I think it's fair when you add like the context to why you feel the way you feel. I wish more people would explain it a little bit different. Explain it. I think, one thing I'm learning is you got to find a way to provide that context, because if not, people can take it whatever way they want and, agree to disagree, whatever. So when you explain it with your context, like I think that's fair, right? Like I think that's why the majority of the people say they want to see it. But I feel like in this camp, it ain't gonna be peachy and creamy. No, he gonna be knocking knees with this defense and these bodies and things like that. And if he don't make it out of camp, I don't expect him to make it on this squad. So I think they're gonna come hard. They're gonna go hard in the motherfreaking paint. What you think? They're gonna. It's gonna be a task for him. I know today was day 1 with pads. It wasn't super ramped up, but I guarantee you, man, it's gonna get ramped up. It's gonna get ramped up, and no, it's not the same as a simulation game, like a real game, a game that counts. But if he makes it through camp, that's a step trending up. If he gets through preseason, there's another. I'm talking about healthy. That's another step trending up, and then you just let it fly when the regular season. And I think for me with Kinlaw, I'll take whatever he can give. You know what I'm saying? I do expect him to be dominant. That's why he was drafted, to be dominant, mainly in the run game, though. Like, he wasn't supposed to be this big sack guy. He's supposed to be just a run-stuffing technique defensive tackle, and I still think he brings that. He just has to find a way to stay healthy. I think if he can figure that part out, if he has his body right, if he has his diet right, if he has his mental right, if he has the physical aspect and the mental aspect and he puts it together, I don't have any questions about his play. I think he's a strong Mickey Ficky, and I think he only gets beat when he's weak, and weak meaning physically, like he can't literally move with that knee. So we'll see what happens. I understand where you're coming from, man. Like I do. So I can't disagree with you there. I just think that he's gonna have a year, and he's gonna put the 49ers in a bind financially.
I like it. Some other standouts from today. Apparently,
hold on, PG. Before
Okay,
that, Jerry
sorry.
says it's more than his health. He was getting beat last year. Yeah, because of his health.
No,
right?
but yeah, I agree with you. I think they tried to pick on him in that NFC Championship game against the Eagles, but that is literally the best offensive line in the league. And if he can't plant on that knee and anchor, when you got Jason Kelsey, and then those other guys on that Eagles offensive line, And they were double teaming him for a reason, because what is the thought process? If he can't anchor, put 2 guys on him. He's gonna have to move because he can't plant. And if he starts moving,
Bingo.
we have 600 pounds versus 3.
Bingo.
We're going to be able to easily move him and create lanes. We've seen multiple times when Kinlaw is healthy, him being able to stonewall 2 guys at one time. This is who we thought we were getting when we drafted him, because that's what he showed in college. But if he can't plan on it, yeah, he may be able to run. He may be able to move side to side and north to south. But if he can't plant and anchor and build that power from the legs up to hold a guy in position or move them, then what do you expect him to do? So I agree with Breezy 100%. I think his knee wasn't 100%, which means he couldn't be as effective as he needed to be with the style of play that we're familiar with him playing. So if he can do that in training camp and make it to the season, then I think we got something in Kinlaw.
Because I thought Mosey started the season off like on fire.
He started well. I was
and then
like,
he
okay.
ended up on the IR somewhere.
Yeah. It was like week 4, week 5. It was
We're
like,
like, damn, what happened? We didn't even see the injury. Like, it's just one of those things. But again, he has to find a way to stay, healthy. And I think him being in camp all off season, being at the facility, just sacrificing. Drake Jackson talked about sacrificing. Just him sacrificing his time, his body, just to get right. I think that's a big up. And sometimes you gotta listen when you play the sport on that professional level. Like, you gotta figure out, you gotta do whatever it takes to remove yourself from your regular world. Like, you gotta do whatever. And if locking yourself up at the facility was the way to just not go home, not eat a certain way, not hang out, not do those things, to me that's a step up. That's a step up. That's showing progression, and that's letting me know that this kid means business. But again, you gotta get can he stay healthy? And like Mo said, when them bodies start flying around, them incidental contact to the legs and stuff like that, will it flare his knees back up to cause him not to be able to do some of the things we know he can do dominantly? And so that's the question. Go ahead, Peachy. I'm sorry for cutting you off. I just wanted to talk about that point.
I know that's fine. We're just talking about other defensive players. It looks like that Javon Hargrave just came out with what they thought he was going to look like, and really weren't saying too much about him. Is they he was just as advertised, like just what we got by signing him.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to see how they're going to utilize him. He did speak, and first of all, he was killing me with the smile, bro. Like, he smiled at everything. It was you could have said, "Yo, you lost a finger. It's okay, man. I'm gonna get a new one." Like, I can't even do it smiling. Yo, I love his spirit, but he did talk about how it's different. He said that the defense is different, and so I feel like we know what our defense is like, but I can't wait to see how he's utilized in this defense.
Yeah. And I think him coming here and seeing that the defense is different, I think that probably added a level of invigoration to what he does. Like, okay, this is different. This is something new. This is already good. How can I come in and add my spice, add my flavor, and just continue to make it great and even better than what it is? So yeah, him on that defensive line, and then with the rotation that we have, and we talked about offense potentially being a special unit. This defensive unit can be really, really special as well. So, I just need to get to actual football and just see it all play out, because, on paper everything looks great, but I want to see it all come together.
I agree. Go ahead, Peachy.
No, go ahead, Breezy.
I was gonna say, did you guys discuss the fight?
Yeah, we discussed a couple of fights. We talked about Jawan Jennings trying to get on my good side.
Did he get his weight? Did he get up there? Because I mean, it's something about these wide receivers. They're overprotective. I freaking love it. Like I'm loving
Because
every bit of it.
all of them want to fight. So Jawan,
Tay Martin.
he started a fight with a linebacker. I didn't read who the linebacker was. It just said linebacker. And then he almost started another fight with T. Gitt. And then Tay Martin got into a fight with Quantrez Knight. Like, the wide receivers, they tired of be looked at as divas. They tired of being looked at as finesse players.
Listen, you can't. You better not call a 49ers wide receiver that.
Right.
I tell you what. So Brandon Aiyuk set the tone. He came out and said, anybody in a white jersey, middle finger. Right? Bang. Boom. Cool. So I'm like, all right. So I'm expecting Aiyuk to like just come out on fire. But you know what? He got disciples. And now all of a sudden, Aiyuk is just chilling. And now the rest of the dogs are coming out. This wide receiver group is different. Mentally wise, like mentality wise, right? They're different. And they're coming, they're gonna be on their Method Man all season long. For those that don't know Method Man, his first single was Bring the Pain. And I think that is the difference between the 49ers wide receivers. So if we don't have those 1,000-yard wide receivers, I don't care. As long as they blocking, as long as they getting yak like they normally do, as long as they not dropping passes, because Mose can't stand that, and neither can I, and I understand Juwan Jennings got to catch the ball. So, but at the end of the day, as long as they keep doing those little things to make the offense tick and move, man. And why the so you mean to tell me the our wide receivers aren't scared of our linebackers? I mean, did you see our linebackers? You see Marcelino with career ball. Dre Greenlaw is knocking cats out in boxing. Fred Warner got dangerous hands. Like, what is going on? Like, they're not afraid? I love it. I love it.
Great. That's great. Only thing that Kyle said was that, at the end of the day, we do need each other. And we just all got that they all have to stick together.
Why Great 1765 got to correct me? Now listen, his first single off to Cal was "Bring the Pain." That what Method Man METHOD Man, which is a song that they sampled the singing part. I want to say it was from Hall and Oates or somebody. Like it's called Method or something. Anyway, I was listening to it in the gym. Anyway, that was on the Wu-Tang Clan album.
Aha.
But he's right. He said I was right later on. I couldn't wait. I had to call him out. But no, back to the fight night, man. Look, the 49ers wide receivers are just different. They have a different mentality. And here's what I like. I think it's going to strengthen the defense. I think those DBs are going to come out scrappy. They're not going to stand down. And you need that because you do got a bunch of divas. And I don't think there's any tough guys on any other team. I think there's some really good, talented guys. But I'm talking literally tough guys. No one's trying to see Debo. No one's trying to see Brandon Aiyuk. I think Brandon Aiyuk might fight. I don't know if Debo will fight. He'll just he'll just knock you over. But I think Brandon Aiyuk might lay the kick punch, like, the combo.
It might.
It's just crazy.
Like Andre Johnson did.
Like Andre Johnson did. Now,
yes.
Mose, I feel like the Niners, didn't Kyle Shanahan coach Andre Johnson in Houston?
Yes, he did.
Do you see where the connection now?
Yes, he did. I loved Andre Johnson, man. He was awesome.
Yeah, he was a dog.
He was a dog. Dog. Do you see any Aiyuk? Do you see any Aiyuk or Johnson and Aiyuk? I know they physically built different, but mentality-wise.
I do. Mentality-wise, because Andre Johnson was quiet. Andre Johnson was a wide receiver who went out there and handled his business. And if you took him to that level, as Cortland Finnegan found out, you was going to get the smoke.
You didn't have to say his name. People forgot who he was, Mose.
Finny.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't. I didn't.
Yo.
So, like, when you talk about mentality, BA is not one of them rah out there doing all the talking. When they come out of the tunnel, Debo's the one in the front with Trent
He's
dancing.
getting them hype. Yeah.
You see Jawan, you may see Danny Gray. Have you ever seen 11 at the front of that pack dancing with them? No, he in the back somewhere getting locked in.
Them the scary ones, right? The quiet, the silent killers.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm talking about
Same
farts, YouTube. I'm talking about the farts, YouTube. I'm talking about the farts.
Julio Jones the same way. He ain't really say much of nothing. I'm gonna just go out here. I know that I'm better than you, and I'm gonna prove it. So yeah, that quiet dog mentality where like, yeah, they may not say nothing to you, and you are very particular about what you say to them. Because if you awaken that in them, then the dog really gonna come out, and you just gonna get beat on like.
Or bit. You're gonna get locked on.
You know, you're gonna get beat on like Bud did Spence this weekend.
Yo, how was the dude able to still fight with all the blood dripping on his face, yo? Like his eyes was like,
dog, his face was as red as your Wayne Breezy flag behind you. That's how red his face was.
That was crazy. That was crazy. Any more fights you feel like? Now I feel like the fights that are happening at 49ers camp, I think it's healthy for the team as long as they're not like physically injuring anybody. But I like the scrap. I like, because a lot of players talk junk, but then they won't do nothing. But the ones that do something, that tells me something.
You said if there any I think you were about to ask the question, do you think there'd be any more fights?
I know there's gonna be fights on that Raiders practice week.
Oh, for sure. I definitely want to see.
Oh, we want to see fights. I like this. All right, guys, which fight do y'all want to see? Go ahead, Mose.
I want to see something between that offense and that defensive line. And I was going to say this when we were talking about him earlier. Maybe Kinlaw just need to grab somebody and punch him in the mouth, or take an Aaron Banks and just body slam him.
Yo, I got the weirdest conspiracy about Kinlaw, and I know it's not for this show, but after that interview, shit hit the fan for him.
And I was gonna bring that up too. I think with what you said, as much work as he's done to try to get his body right, for somebody to, crap on it and to belittle him, I think that's what frustrates you the most. So, like, yes, he's been eating right. He's been at the facility day in and day out, trying to get his body right, trying to get the knee fixed, trying to stay healthy. It's not like he's not doing anything. It's not like he isn't grinding. That's one thing that we cannot say about Javon Kinlaw. He, during the offseason and when he has time off, he rehabs and he works and he's trying to figure it out. It just hasn't paid dividends as of yet. So, but I hear what you're saying. That interview and that kind of mean streak that came from him, sometimes it does put a negative stigma on you as a person. Mm-hmm. And you're right. Maybe a fight from him, would only add more negative than it does positive.
He has to just prove it on the field, bro. In order to break that stigma, he just got to go out there and do it. Because I feel like the one thing we know is he has a mouth, but why we haven't heard from him ever since that interview? Not even not a presser, not a nothing, right?
But I'm wondering why, or maybe it just wasn't reported. Obviously, the quarterbacks are wearing the black non-contact jersey for a reason.
Correct.
Cleveland Farrell hit Brock Purdy's surgically repaired arm. No one from the offense grabbed him up and gave him a little two-piece and a biscuit. Like, bro, are you trying to end our season before it starts? Like,
maybe he's trying to get Trey Lance back out there.
Yeah, but even so, don't do it that way. Because that means we're down a guy.
I understand. I'm just look. It must have been like a bang bang quick thing. The one thing I think Brock does is he holds the ball too long. I know people don't. I know he processes and gets the ball out of his hand quick. When he's trying to take that shot, he's just holding the ball, and that's when stuff happens. Now, I'm not blaming him for his injuries. I just feel like maybe it was one of those type of plays. Again, I wasn't there. I can't tell you. Like we can ask someone, one of our comrades that was there, to kind of give us more context on it. But hey, I'm surprised that he didn't get, reprimanded for that. You don't hit the quarterback, period. Not in a black jersey. I don't care who the quarterback is. You don't hit the quarterback. So I don't know if the team was or if Kosir. All right. After players fights, do you think any of the coaches want to fight Chris Kosiric?
No. No.
That's his guy.
Especially none of the offensive guys.
That's his guy. I'm just saying. I think it would have came down to something like that. Kosiric probably cussed everybody out and then took and reprimanded Cleveland Farrell behind the scenes or something like that. I don't know. I'm just making this stuff up. But you got to stay off the quarterbacks. You got to stay off the quarterbacks, especially during this time. You don't hit the quarterbacks. That's why they wear the dark jerseys, so you know who the quarterback is. The defense is in white and the offense is in red. So you got to do that. But yeah, man, Peachy, let's wrap up the show. I think this is pretty good. I need some food.
Sure. Got 2 super chats to get to right here. Mr. Sean, thank you. I'm glad Brock got hit hard today and isn't hurt. Got that monkey off his back early. Breezy was playing Call of Duty. Didn't want to put it.
Yo, I cannot play Call of Duty, yo. I can't do it. I can't get it. Like, I just get mad after I can't get my aim right.
Try.
No.
No. Listen. Try Battlefield.
Okay.
2042.
Because
I can't. I'm terrible at Call of Duty. I don't know why.
I want to be good.
I would like to be because everybody plays on that. So I'm terrible at Call of Duty. But a friend of mine from college, he was like, "Yeah, I don't play Call of Duty. I play Battlefield." Because at the time he was like, "I feel Battlefield is more realistic." So I've been playing Battlefield, and then I stopped playing it a little bit, but then recently I just got Battlefield 2042 and started playing it. I picked it up in like 2 days.
Okay. I'll try.
Now I'm averaging 18, 20 kills a match. For some reason, I'm better at Battlefield than I am at Call of Duty. I get on Call of Duty, I can't get a kill to save my life. Battlefield, I'm cooking.
Everybody wants to play with me because I'm an easy kill. So it's just I don't care. I just be having fun. But yeah, Sean, thank you for the contribution.
Thank you, Sean. Terra Dome, thank you for the super chat. And we got a kicker who can kick 60. Think about it. New rule: get the ball at the 25-yard line. Just get 32 yards. Field goal at a minimum. We just need 32 yards of possession.
He kicked a 55-yarder today, yo.
He sure did.
It was nothing.
He was 3 for 3 from 38, 48, and 55.
Yep.
But then Pinheiro was also 3 for 3.
You mean Graham? What's their other kicker name?
Isn't it Pinheiro or is it Gonzalez?
Gonzalez. There it is.
That's it.
Zane Gonzalez.
Zane Gonzalez.
He was good from 38, 48, and he 1-upped or 2-upped Moody 57? And was good from 57.
Oh, so there's a kicker competition going on.
Apparently, there is a kicking competition.
Kyle Shanahan ain't. It's just tough.
Another super chat from Mr. Sean. I think Wilkes would fight Kosiric. Wilkes looks like he'd sneak a shank in, don't he? Just saying. Be blessed.
Wilkes looks like he's related to Morgan Freeman or something.
Yes.
I knew it wasn't just me. They look like they related, but yeah. I don't know.
I don't know about the shank part, but
Wilkes looks like he has hands. I feel like Kosiric might be all bark. And if you could get past the yelling and the cursing and just punch him in the throat, I think you'd be good.
Yeah, Wilkes one of them uncles that like is quiet, minding his business, and then like when his brother come in, your other uncle who loud and drink a lot, he just be telling, "All right now, go ahead about your business." He wanted to go ahead about your business now. Go ahead. And then that uncle keep pushing. And then Steve Wilkes, that uncle that put his brother down, like, "I told you stop playing. Now look at you, and then go right back about his business. He one of them quiet uncles that don't say much of nothing.
Yeah.
But if you get on his nerves enough, he gonna put you down.
Yeah.
Mike, I noticed you because that is not what I was saying. I'm just saying they look like they cousins. That's it. I ain't mean nothing by it. Mike, man.
But that's crazy with the lookalike. My wife texted me. I guess she saw your thumbnail because sometimes she goes on YouTube during the day to put on stuff for the kids. And she saw your thumbnail, and she was like, she looked at it. She was like, "What the hell is Marcus doing on Breezy's channel?" So she texted me. She was like, "Who's number 71 for the 49ers?" I was like, "Trent Williams." She was like, "I looked at the TV screen and I thought that was you." I said, "What?" So I was like, "Yeah." A lot of people say that I look like Trent Williams, and then I had to show her a picture of DJ Jones. I was like, they used to say I look like him too.
Yeah, I see DJ more than Trent, but yeah.
Mike crazy.
She thought I was Trent Williams. I was like, I wish. I'd be at training camp right now throwing this around. Oh, no Nick Bosa here? Oh, all y'all getting it.
Oh Lord.
Guys, we got to get out of here, man.
Yeah.
Is there any more? Are we done?
I
Because
would
that
just
was
like
funny.
to thank everyone for tuning in. You guys are awesome. The chat was popping as usual. We appreciate you all so much. The Wayne Breezy show should be back on Wednesday, so we'll have some updates for you on that.
This Wednesday, Peachy, there won't be a Wayne Breezy show.
Oh, sorry.
No, you didn't know. There won't be a Wayne Breezy show, but there will be the John and Wayne show, which got postponed because John will be at training camp on tomorrow. So there will be the Wayne Breezy. It'll be a one show because we do it at his time, 1 p.m. my time. So we'll just do that one show for Wednesday.
Cool.
So I just wanted to put that out there.
Okay, and stay tuned because me and Breezy have a fantasy show coming. We're trying to.
The fantasy show is going to
Get
be
that
crazy. Oh, I'm so
together.
excited. Because if you need help in drafting, Peachy is the one. I will tell you, she wins leagues. And if you got a keepers league, if she told you, Peachy, just give him 4 players from your keepers league, yo.
My keeper.
From your keepers. Hurry up, man. Give it to him. Give it to him raw, too, because they're going to be mad.
Well, I have Christian McCaffrey,
Come on.
Cooper Kupp.
How you get 2 of the best white people in football? Like, how is that
Facts.
even possible?
Facts.
I'm trying to remember who else I had now. I done forgot. Dang.
Damn, Peachy, they were stars, too. Like, I'm like,
Hold on 1 second. I'll tell you right quick on my NFL fantasy thing here.
all I'm saying is
She
she
better
got,
not say Justin Jefferson and Jamar
I
Chase.
felt like it's a Justin Jefferson or Chase coming
Hold
in
on.
this.
I'm
I
fixing
feel
to tell
like
you right now. I got it right here on my keeper thing. Everybody's mad too. They all hate me. I got Christian McCaffrey, Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp, and Travis Kelce.
Well, guys, we're going to go ahead and remove her from the show because there is no way that her league should allow her to have
That's
those
crazy.
players, yo.
That's crazy.
How is that? Who is in charge? Find the moderator from that league so I can do something.
And she just get to keep him.
Every season.
That's
Every season.
that's
Guys, we just
So, yeah,
having fun.
We need to for that one league that we're in with Travis, we need to do a multi-stream.
Oh, that's crazy because there is some crazy content creator. Like Cam Emmon is in that
Oh
joint.
yeah, there's a bunch of them.
I saw him just jump in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
We
going to
got
be a crazy
We got
league.
Chapman in there. We got Croc in there.
Yeah, Croc is in there. Roscoe is in there. It's gonna be crazy. I tried to get somebody from Nothing But Niners in there, but he clearly didn't want to click on the link, Mike. And so yeah, talking about I don't do sleeper because they be cheating. What the Mike? Whatever, Mike.
Running back 6. I don't know how I got 4 first-round picks. All I know is that we have a keepers league, and I'm really good at drafting, and so
Sean is killing us right
that's
now.
That's who I have left. That's who I have. Yeah.
Look what he said to you. She got a lead. But listen, like I said, she's really good at drafting. She stays on top. If you guys don't know about Peachy, she's on top of sports, period. Football, basketball. Those are her two niches. She's on top of it. So like, make sure you guys are following her on Twitter as well. Her YouTube channel will be starting up very soon, and there's going to be some new exclusive shows that Peachy's going to be bringing to you. So I'm excited. Got a lot of things in the works. Guys, did VZ just say I look like a 70? When you get the yellow tints, first of all, these are the Zennies. And good luck trying to find them. These are exclusive. Like, I feel like I'm one of the only few with this pair. So if you want them, you got to hit me up with my Venmo, and then I'll make a special delivery. You know what I'm saying? But guys, great show. Peachy Mo's, y'all held it down as always. I'm sorry I had to call from the whip, but on certain Mondays I have rehearsal. I got to get the choir right. They did their thing today too. It was so good. I brought back Melodies from Heaven. I brought back We're Blessed. I brought back the classics. You feel me?
Awesome.
Like, nothing wrong with today's gospel music, but that's the music that saved my spirit, saved my soul. So it was a good show, man. Let's see. Oh, here. So listen. All right. Let me address this for those that want to join the Discord. Let me address this. So we were doing this R&B, male R&B battle, and
whatever happened with that? I ain't been in the Discord.
let me explain it. Whatever. I didn't even mean to take anybody's dub away. That's not what my intentions were. But Mose, you know how I'm busy. Yo, my watch was dead, bro, because they kept messaging, oh, this person cheated, this person did that. He wasn't even, how he gonna pick Mike's guy, and Mike already got the guy. And I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna cancel it. There's nothing, like, it's over. Like we're done. We'll start it over again. I'll revamp it, rethink it. We'll come up with some new rules and whatever. Because, I'm an on-the-fly guy, so stuff I just couldn't take it anymore. The messages was killing me. And I was just like, you know what? We're done with it. So I didn't do that on purpose because
Did everybody send in their 20 songs?
It changed. They did a revamp. Like, it was different because we tagged you, but you ain't respond.
Oh yeah, I'm slacking. I wasn't in the Discord. That's my fault. I got it.
But it was. Mike says he was murking them. Like Jax beat me. She had Bobby Brown. I used Justin Timberlake, Peachy. Like we were gonna have a NIT tournament and the real joint. It was dope, but y'all was complaining too effing much, man. I can't
even though I wasn't there, I know I had to at least win a couple rounds because I got babyface.
Yo, listen. It was dope. I don't want to be the leader of it anymore. I just want to play. That's what I'm gonna do. Cause all they did was complain. Like, imagine getting 10 complaints 10 times in 30 minutes.
Oh yeah, no, I'm turning it off.
I'm trying to sing a country song that I don't know too well, and all I see is 30 minutes. I'm like, okay, Discord, I'm done. I'm done. But guys,
that's nice, not a Cali boy. I like that.
That is. I'm in a keeper league. He got Debo, AJ Brown. Woo. Prayers up for Joe Burrow too. Guess what, guys? No new injuries.
Right.
Yes. Around it. You talking about for the 49ers? Or
I'm talking about for the 49ers. I didn't go around the league.
Yeah.
That's Mo's show. Mo's got the league show. No new injuries. All right. So that's a good thing. But guys, you guys stay healthy, man. Stay cool or whatever or whatnot. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Nitty Gritty Niners is back. I'm so excited, man. You guys, just Mondays are going to be great. Fear is coaching football right now. So I know a lot of people are like, well, where is Fear? He's a head coach. He's coach.
Yep.
And so once that kind of like he gets his schedule down packed, he definitely will be rejoining us on the surface here. But it's good to be here. Peachy, you held it down. Mose, again, you held it down. Everybody in the chat held it down. Shout out to the Breezy's bunch. All right, man. Make sure you got your alert set to all and on. I hope Nothing But Niners will be live tomorrow night. Mike, figure it out. Go bowling another night. We got to get back to the grind.
I think Nothing But Niners is coming on tonight. He put out a thing.
Oh, hell no. I'm going to bed.
He's got a special
I bet you he do. See, this is the thing about Mike. Let me tell you about Mike.
Last minute.
This motherfucker never stick to the script, right? We got a script. Tuesdays, Thursdays. And then he hit you with the impromptu show. And I'm like, bro, I go to bed. My watch died. That means it's time to go to bed. I go to bed at 9:30 now. I'm up at 4. Mike wants to do a show, but
And live tonight.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm a
He
tune
said
in.
he
and
has
hope-
a special
fun show
guest, so I'm
coming
trying
to
to
you
figure out who his
tonight.
special guest is.
So you
with
know
a
what, Mike?
Special guest and
Yes.
input from some former
Oh,
49ers
I know who it is.
players.
It's Eric
on
Crocker.
what's going on with the QB position.
Gonna be E. My man E. E's gonna be there. That's what's up, Mike. Shout out to Mike and Eric Crocker. You know, I'll watch tomorrow morning when I wake up and go to the gym since you wanted to do an impromptu show. Because everybody be like, oh, you won't be with none but Niners. I do, but Mike be changing the schedule every freaking week. I'm a schedule guy. I'm a Capricorn. That shit got to point. It's got to be, you know what I mean?
All right.
Peachy, take us home. I'll keep talking.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Probably. That's a good point. Thank you guys for tuning in. We had a blast. It was fun. Thank you for being patient with me and Mose.
I can't wait to go back and watch. Okay, tell me what happened. What happened with the technical difficulties?
It was something with my AirPods. So I had my AirPods in, but the sound wasn't coming in them. So I was trying to figure out, and I had to like reconnect them. But then it cut the sound out, and I couldn't hear Peachy, but she could hear me. But then the chat thought that Peachy was muted. I don't know.
Guys,
what's happening.
It's StreamYard's fault, and we'll leave it at that. Go ahead,
Amen.
Peachy.
We'll have another show that'll be back at the same time, 7 o'clock Mondays. Check us out. We're just looking forward to a really good week of training camp and Nick Bosa getting signed this week.
Ooh,
There it is.
that's a take. Guys, stay up, stay faithful. Always keep it nitty gritty, baby. We out. Peace.